So we went over all that. In youth ball, if you ever do youth ball, they're required to wear a cup, not in high school. Okay?
Great. Youth also, and the goalies are required to wear arm pads in youth.
It depends on the league and the level. So when you do youth ball, it's always good to kind of verify those kind of things. There's different rule sets for different leagues. If you do any of the DLOA games, Mike will be sending stuff out about what the specific rules are. They're working towards this new US lacrosse rule set. I don't think they fully implemented it yet, but that's what they want to work towards. US lacrosse is trying hard to create a universal rule set for youth.
Goalies can wear more pads than what you should.
They can. Yeah.
They can wear football pants.
They cannot wear football
No, not
pants.
anymore.
No. They can wear like padded compression pants underneath.
Yeah, they sell
Okay.
specific goalie pants.
Yeah, they have goalie pants. You see a lot of the kids come out, man, and they can't. It's almost like a box lacrosse guy. You know, they're like, and the pads are really big, you know, to cover the goal. So generally in high school, what you'll see, and the goalie's allowed to wear a pair of sweatpants even if everybody else is wearing shorts, as long as they don't contrast greatly with, you know, so if everybody's got gray shorts, he's got a gray sweatpants, you know, something like that. And again, you'll see them come out with arm pads. You know, they do make, they come out even with soccer shin guards. I never stopped for soccer shin guards, but there is a specific in the rule. Can't wear football pants, can't wear a football helmet, all that. Okay, so as you see here, you know, usually the jersey covers the shoulder pads. Okay, that's fine. Okay, goalie's got sweatpants on, one solid color, that's fine. In the early spring, you know, they can wear sweatpants as long as they're wearing a solid color. I think the rule does say they've all got to wear sweatpants or shorts. I don't necessarily worry about that as long as I don't have 50 different colors. So if they got maroon shorts and maroon pants, I'm good. You know, sweatpants are one solid color. Okay. Visors are not allowed. You can't. There is a rule in there. I'm not 100% clear on it. I have to look at it when I get a kid. You can wear a clear visor, but you can't wear glasses under the clear visor.
Sunglasses.
Sunglasses. But you cannot have a tinted visor. And the other thing you gotta watch is, you know, generally, I don't know, you know, you don't see them in high school games. You see them more in the summer, and we ignore them more in the summer. But usually, if they've got a visor, they've taken that off of some other helmet and modified it, which is probably very bad. All right.
Question.
I have a question real quick. In youth, is that something, I know the rule is the same, like you can't have a tinted visor, but I've seen players wear it before. Is that something?
I don't think in a youth game they should have a tinted visor. Generally, they don't, you know, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Especially a youth kid, you know, it does obscure your vision.
Because if they get hit in the head,
And you
you
can't tell
try
if they
to-
have-
you can't look in their eyes and see if they're glazed over or anything like that. That's why the rules.
And generally, I don't know that any of the helmet manufacturers make visors.
I think that's, I've
Yeah,
seen one in like summer,
Yeah.
I think.
So, at youth, I would say, you know, that's one I would absolutely say no. So, football pants are prohibited. You're doing, I want to be careful, I don't want to send you on a charter. You know, you're doing McCain JV and a kid, the goalie shows up obviously terrified and he's got his football drawers on. I mean, you know, I don't really see that it matters.
It could be his first day ever in
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, Coach Ray said, yeah, this is it, you know, you're in the goal.
Okay,
Okay?
varsity, yeah, you're following all the rules tight.
Yeah,
JV, yeah, these kids are just learning, you ease up on them a bit.
and, I mean, you know, Robbie will tell you, you coached, you know, you get 15 kids to come out maybe for JV, maybe a total of 25, 30 kids for the whole program, and you're begging somebody to stand there and take shots, and if he'll go in there in football pants, that's fine. Also, you don't know what they put under their sweatpants. Now, they do make, like I said, they make these padded compression pants, they're fine. But pants that were designed for football are not designed for lacrosse. Football helmets, no, they're not designed. They're designed for a totally different type of use than lacrosse. You don't have the vision you know, and all that. Headsets, okay? Some of these rules are, you know, coaches can use headsets and devices to talk to the press box. They cannot use headsets to talk to players, okay? It's prohibited. They can now use electronic iPads, things like that on the sideline. They can have all that as long as they're communicating with coaches in a box or, you know, using it to show plays or whatever. That's all fine, okay? Some old guys will say, no, you can't, but the rules were changed. But you cannot communicate electronically with players on the field. We probably won't see it. So, religious medals, medical bracelets are allowed. They have to be taped down and safe. So if a kid has a medical bracelet, you know, I make them rubber, I don't really worry about it as much, but if it's a metal bracelet, they just tape it down under their gloves. If they wear a religious medal, they gotta tape it, you know, they can't be, if it's coming out, they gotta leave the field and tape it down. It's not a penalty. Okay?
What about some of these other like piercings and stuff? Is that ever an issue?
No earrings, no nose piercings.
That's all
You got it other places, I'm
Earrings.
not worried. But, yeah, you know, you can't have them. I mean, you know, under a helmet, are you gonna see it? You know, no, but, they're not supposed to. Jewelry, big gold chains, you know, all that, no. Recommended, like I said, the cup is recommended, okay? You'll know what got it, know right away. It is required in youth, but again, that's part of the coach's certification at the beginning of the game. You don't have to go around touching all these little boys. I wouldn't do it. You know, if somebody videotapes it, it looks bad. It looks very bad in court. And then these are rib pads, you know, so a lot of guys, you know, guys are beasts, they don't want to wear that. They are recommended. It's just, you know, basically a little thing that goes around here. Because sometimes, especially if you're a midfielder and you're clearing a lot, you're going to take some shots, you know. Hopefully we catch those shots, but they don't hurt any less. All right, now we're going to move to Rule 2, game personnel. All right. So this is all the personnel that we have. Okay, we'll go over each one real quickly. Generally for you guys in games, unless you're working a single middle school game, your referee handles all this for you. And we'll go over what I mean by referee in a minute. So you have officials, timekeepers, scorekeeper, players, captains, who are also players, and in-home. We're talking about the in-home, right? Not the guy that lives behind the stadium in a little house. Coaches, and you have a sideline manager. Okay, we'll cover that. So your referees, okay, minimum of 2, okay. I don't know why it says 3. Well, 3 are recommended, okay. So we're trying to work towards three guys on a game. It's much safer. Our bigger games, I hate to use that word, but we use 3 guys. I don't necessarily believe that that's the right way to do it, because those guys can play. Maybe sometimes it's better to have 3 guys on your lower games, but you really need 3 guys on the field. You know, you're talking, if you kind of look at the numbers and the size of the field, 2 guys and a field as big as we are, and 20 players, and you know the coaches are so close and all that, you're kind of outnumbered. Okay, in our referee thing, okay, you have a referee, an umpire, field judge, and a chief box official. Very rare, but focus on these 3 guys. So if you're a 3-man crew, you have a field judge. Okay, all of these guys are equal. They're all referees. They're wearing white stripes. You got a whistle, flags, okay? They have different roles. Well, they don't, these 3 guys don't necessarily have different roles. It just has to be where they start at different times. Except the guy who is designated as the referee is the crew chief. Okay, so when you get your first game, it's going to say Mike Wilbur is the referee. You are the umpire. Okay? You call the same penalties, you do all the same things, depending on where you are mechanically on the field. Okay? He conducts everything with the coaches, the captains, you know, he deals with all that. And when there is a dispute, his word is the final word. He can overrule you on a dispute. Okay? You can't overrule him. You can overrule him on call, Okay, so if you had a better perspective, you can always overrule, make sure you do, it's Mike's cop stuff. But, you have certain cases, okay, and I'll go to football, look at the catch in the Green Bay game, right? First guy's there, oh, no, and the second guy, man, and it was great mechanics, he came running right in, no, I had it, and he was right. He overruled it, and he made it right. It's the same in lacrosse. So if we're across the field, and he's watching a ball here, and 3 guys going after the ball, he's watching the ball in the stick, right? Is he watching the guy who comes running into the pile and shoves the guy? All he sees is the guy fall down. He doesn't know what happened, he guessed, okay? So he might, and then the ball trickles out of bounds. So he calls it out of bounds and gives it to whatever the team, the other team that didn't touch it last. But I'm on the other side, and I saw the other guy push. I'm blowing my whistle, I'm coming over, and I'm gonna overrule his call, okay? Or because in the sake of getting it right. But if you have a dispute, like did we adjudicate a penalty right, something like that, the referee has the final say. Does that make sense?
Greg, I think one of the biggest times that this comes, is very important, is the crease, right around the crease. Because one official's watching feet, the other's watching the back. Because if I'm watching to see if someone's foot is in the crease, I may not have seen the push which put that guy in the crease. That's my personal job, to watch that part. So together, you're getting the call right.
And we'll talk mechanically about that one. Because basically what you do there, when you see the guy step in the crease, you're gonna blow your whistle because you got a guy in the crease. And we'll talk about this. Then you're gonna look at your partner before you call anything. Because again, you don't want to be making opposite calls. It never looks good, unless it's absolutely necessary. Does that make sense? And it happens very rarely that I'm gonna overrule Mike from the other side of the field. It's gotta be clear. It's gotta be like everybody saw it. So in a lot of cases, like if I'm not sure, like if I see a guy come flying in, like in a scenario, I'm gonna blow my whistle, hold my hand up, he's gonna go, and then I'll make the call. But if he doesn't do that, you can overrule the call. And we'll talk more about that. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. Situation, say the referee goes down, is that kind of like the hierarchy as well too? Does the umpire then become the referee?
I would say so,
Say
yeah.
the referee gets a ball to the head and has to go out the game.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a good point. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Well, you may wanna do that in pregame too, just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
throw
or somebody,
throw it in the area.
maybe you.
No, that's a great point.
You push your hand, you can't continue anymore, and you're the
Yeah.
referee. I mean,
Yep. Yep, that's a great point. All right, the second position is the timekeeper. Okay, the timekeeper could be some girl who's trying to date the attackman. It could be some sister who's been dragged to a million lacrosse games and knows the game very well. It could be a mom out of the stands. It could be a guy who's not going to play that day, and he just drew the short straw. It could be a lot of people. You could have 2 timekeepers. Okay, so the timekeeper's job is keep time, and you have 2 different times. You have game time, and you have penalty time. Okay, you got to know at the beginning of the game where are the different times being kept. Okay, if they're using the stadium clock, somebody's going to make sure whoever's up there and they understand the rules of keeping that time. The penalty times are always kept down on the field. Okay. Often in a lot of these places now, if they don't use a stadium clock or they have a remote thing, it's going to be the same person. If you identify that, that's part of your pregame, you want to know. We do give every team instructions for timer, penalty, scorekeeper, all that kind of stuff. They have to have a horn, okay? It can be an air horn on the sideline. It can be the stadium horn. There has to be a working horn present to start the game. If there's not, it's a technical foul. You give the ball to the other team, it's over. Okay? And I had it happen last year, and I called it, and I'm glad I did. Later in the game, there's a situation with the horn, and there was confusion with a shot at the end of the thing. Coach, you didn't have a horn. We warned you. We gave you time to get it. You didn't get it. We took the ball away. Sorry. So.
Is that the official time there on the field versus, say you're using a timer, on the field, and you also have the
the game clock would be, if you have a visible scoreboard, in 99% of the time, you're gonna use that, because everybody sees it, okay?
And like whenever you guys have a chance, like throughout, like during the game, I mean, pay attention to what's going on, but if you have a clear opening there, no one's around them, take a glance up at the clock and make sure that clock is running, because there's been times that this girl's texting her boyfriend or girlfriend and doesn't hit the clock for 30 seconds.
Right.
Anybody, parent that's up there.
A lot, I mean, some of these stadiums are using these old time-right clocks that look like they came out of the Hoosiers movie, you know, and they just stopped working, or now they're using these things that are wirelessly connected, you know, and some Russian spy satellite flies over and interrupts everything, you know. So that's a great point. You always want to watch the clock. The other thing too is if, you can kind of, you know, you always want to watch the clock, but if in the first quarter it's never right, you're doing one of two things. You're telling the girl on the sideline who probably knows more about lacrosse, you're keeping the time, and you're giving her instructions on how to communicate that. Or, worst case scenario, you got that black watch that you bought. Coach, I'm keeping time.
If you do charter, theirs has about a 3-second delay after they turn it.
Yeah.
So you may look up and it's not going, and all of a sudden, it'll jump up 3 or 4 seconds and then go on. The other thing is when you've got a penalty, when you call a penalty, look up at that clock, see what it is, and know how much time's on the penalty. Keep it in your head so you know the person's coming out at a certain time, so then you can glance over, have they come out or they've come out too early.
And with that mention, I always, when I talk to the score girls at the beginning, I try to verify that's how they're doing the